So this is a topic, we're gonna do this. This is a big topic. This is what I have seen to be one of the biggest factors of how people can become successful at what they do and enjoy what they do versus people who actually do this and they create a job for themselves. This is critical. Doesn't matter if you want to be a coach or consultant, like just in life, I think we have it backward, where as soon as we make money, we spend money. We make money to spend money. We make money to acquire external things that we think will make us happy. And we have the goal, we all want freedom. Is there anyone in here who doesn't want freedom? Say aye. We all want freedom, but we hold freedom till the end. It's like this future thing. Instead of actually working towards it now, getting free now, so that everything else is just a bonus afterwards. And so you're not forced to make decisions based around, I have to pay rent or I have to fulfill this lifestyle that I created for myself. It's extremely important. And I was talking about the guy who, I had a lot of learning just surrounding myself with other coaches, very successful ones, who will enroll a client for $50,000 and then buy a watch and then fly to Vegas. And it's like, yes, I'm not telling you that you can't, like telling people what to do with their money, but here's what happens, is now he's gonna have to get another client, and now in that conversation, he's trying to fulfill his lifestyle. And yes, you wanna do that. But it's not so much about the impact I feel. And it's more about your lifestyle that you're trying to fuel. And so this is very counterintuitive approach, and not everyone will be on board. But if the key is freedom, then why not get free first and then make everything else a bonus? Because my goal to be happy was just to make more doing knowledge for men than when I had a job. And if that's my goal for success, then I'm already a success. And I don't have to make 6 figures or 7 figures because I already accomplished what I needed to accomplish. And everything else now moving forward is about the mission. It's about the goal of impacting more men, of now Influence Academy, getting other people on board to impact other people. And I'm not trying to sell people around the idea of, I've got this loft downtown, Little Italy, you see these lofts, that I have to pay for, and now I'm hustling to pay for a lifestyle. Instead, I'm hustling to make an impact. And now, because I'm free, I don't have to worry about like rent, about car payment, and my lifestyle. Like, look, I Sperry's, $90. This is probably the most expensive thing I got. This watch I've had for like 8 years. This is like a $40, $30 button up, and these jeans are like 40, I don't know, $30 or something. And I've been wearing these like past couple days, if you haven't noticed. And so, does it matter? I don't care. My friends don't care. Like, they care about who I am as a person. They don't even see what I look like or what I wear. I mean, I live on the beach. I'm not in the penthouse, but I am on the beach. I have freedom in that I don't commute. I have freedom in that my office is just strategically placed one stoplight away from my house. I get to go like this, and I have to brake right away, and I'm done. Freedom is what I go after first. And then, I'm not saying you can't go to Vegas. I'm not saying you can't have nice things, but first give yourself freedom. Don't say freedom for later. Let your mind be completely free of all of these external things that you're gonna have to fulfill. So, most people make money, then spend it, rather than invest it. So most people make money, then spend it, rather than invest it. And what I'm saying investing, I'm not talking about stocks or real estate. Those are all great things, okay? But what I'm talking about is investing for freedom. That's what we want, is freedom at the end, but we can actually give it to ourselves sooner. And what happens is we become more effective in the present, which allows us to get more results today rather than holding it off for some later date. This has been a hack, and this is new. I haven't ever shared this before. AKA, what you're doing is you're buying stress because you will have to always bring in X amount each month and every month. You'll be cash driven versus caring about your people, community, and adding real value. I'll be so focused on enrolling instead of actually listening. I'll be so focused on hiring a team and buying leads and numbers driven rather than understanding that those 12 people are 12 men that might be going through a serious life crisis and they're coming to me for support and answers. You don't want to lose yourself in this. You want to maintain the mission, the vision. Inside my office, and I think Joey alluded to this, but one of the things we have right when you walk in is a sign that if you dare to walk in these doors, you're going to transform a man's life today. And then I have statistics about men, which he talked about depression, about suicide, about being overweight, about being in debt, about divorce rates. And so don't walk in my office and friends will come in and I'll be like, you have to look at that and agree. And they can't come in. If they're like, what? Stay outside. They're my friends, so they'll do it. But that's how serious I am when you walk in the doors of my office. It's a transformation room. All around my office is we have quotes, we have motivational posters, we have inspiring words, we have things that I've written, we have mission statements on the wall. So when you walk in, it's like this isn't a place where you come to work. This is a place where you're setting other people free and you're starting and you're opening the doors for others. Okay, so let's come back to this idea here. Most people make money then spend it rather than invest it into what? It's what William Wallace says at the end. I was about to start going, freedom! Rather than invest it into freedom, okay? AKA what they're doing is they're buying stress. So someone could be in my situation where money starts coming along into their life and they can be like, I'm gonna pimp my life. And they're gonna go out and buy a Porsche and lease it, okay, bam. $700, $800 a month now that I have to make sure that I'm paying for car, insurance, another $500, $1,300, plus gas. Now I'm up an additional $400 to $500 plus it's premium gas and you're gonna drive it fast. So now all of a sudden I have like $1,800 a month that I would have to spend. And then I decide to get the loft in Little Italy, which is gonna cost $3,500. Now I'm up to about $6,000 just to have that lifestyle. But then I can't be wearing these clothes if I'm gonna live in downtown, like in the loft, so I'm gonna have to up and pimp my lifestyle. And then I'm gonna have to start looking a certain way and wearing certain things. And now I'm having to make $10,000 a month just to maintain a lifestyle that does what? Nothing. And it's not to say that I can't do that later, but I'm talking about in the beginning, like if I started doing that when money started coming in, then I don't think I'd be here where I am today. Because to tell you the truth, this is the real honest truth. Even though in these past few weeks been making more money, and in the past few months, this past year alone, more money than ever have I made. The truth is that I just pay myself the same amount every month, and I live off of that amount every month. And that amount is the amount that I used to make when I worked at Target. I was a manager, I wasn't pushing carts. And so I'm actually living the same lifestyle exactly, and I'm still budgeting as if I was a very kind of just it's not poor, it's not like poverty, but I'm just living, I can pay for everything that I need, and I'm good. Like, do I live in a nice place? Do I have a nice car? Are my bills paid? Or is everything taken care of? But I got a stack of cash in the bank, which is the Knowledge for Men movement money, which I can use to get the office in PB and to pay for things, equipment, technology, software, all these expenses, but it's all taken care of. And I can focus solely on what I need to focus on to make Knowledge for Men happen. And so I invest in, these are little things, little examples. It's like we all love the idea of a maid. It's like, oh my gosh, only rich people. Okay, or how about a chef to cook your food? Or how about someone to do your laundry? Little things like this that actually don't cost that much, that you could likely afford today instead of buying what? The random car, the random, like having to pay for insurance, having to pay for gas, having to pay for all these things that society says you need. Instead, use that money to set yourself free and give yourself, instead of living and having 4 hours a day of free time, now you have 8. My favorite days are days where my calendar is empty. Not meaning that I'm going to do nothing, but meaning that I get 10, 12 hours to be creative and do something impossible within knowledge for men. Those are the days where I get to talk to Tony Robbins and fly out there. Those are the days where I just make a random phone call to Jordan Belfort's office and explain to him why he should be on my show. Those are the days when I just do something bold. But I can't do that if I'm just focused on being money-driven to fuel a lifestyle that doesn't necessarily meet the values that I have. And so, if you ever do see me, like if you're like, Andrew, what the fuck, BMW? Like you call that out, but it's like, if you ever see me doing that, it's because I'm likely making like 30 or 40 times that amount, and that is actually like a base level. That would be a base level at some point in the future. But for the longest time, I was sitting on multiple six figures in the bank and driving an old 2006 Honda. And recently had just upgraded my car, and people were like, oh, get the M4, the M5. And I was like, dude, I don't care. Okay, because the way that I look at it is this. $55,000 on a vehicle, you can get an M3 or M4, $55,000 used, 2014, 13, 460 so horsepower. It's a great car. I test drove them, very tempted, good salesman, good thing I know sales. And basically, $55,000, getting leads for $1.15 right here, and my other ads are like $1.30. That's basically like 40,000 men that could have joined the community. And so what's more important here? Me to a stoplight, or 40,000 men going through some of this training here. But what's interesting is those 40,000, that money would then just compound. But that's the key point, is people will make those decisions instead of actually growing their business, or instead of actually doing the thing that they want to do. And they're constantly chasing this idea of freedom, and they're pushing it. But they're the ones who are making it harder to achieve freedom in their lives. You can be free even if you're making just $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. Change your expectations. And get free. Get to a point where you have freedom in your life, and then from this position, you are now in the most powerful state to make high-level decisions and grow your business forward. If you so happen to make more money, awesome, reinvest. And a huge pitfall I see with people who come in and they start making some money, and yes, it will happen if you apply. I honestly, when I was starting this, I'm like, will I really make money? When someone would say that. Yes, you will if you apply, take action, stay consistent, follow the game plan, use the community, be accountable, invest in coaching. But obviously, it helps. Obviously, it works. So moving forward, invest in freedom. Your goal is to free yourself from 80% of all the activities that you work on so you can focus on only high-level activities. Always push towards, what am I doing today for freedom? If we're always moving towards that direction, we're starting to have more time in our lives and less stress in our lives. It's the most powerful thing to be a business owner who is free, not a business owner who is a slave to the business. You just created yourself a job. Even if you love it, there's still a lot of mundane tasks around a business. So we want to move towards freedom. And if we don't have that mindset early on, then we're likely to make dumb decisions. Because what would feel better is driving an M4 or waking up and being stress-free. What would be better for the health and the mind and the body when you go to bed at night? When your conscious is clear and you're happy and fulfilled, rather than all of these bills that come in, all of this stress that comes in with that, associated with that, attached to that. And so, again, I'm not saying don't buy nice things. I'm saying get freedom first. Fight for freedom. Fight for freedom first, and coming from a position of freedom, then acquire those nice things if you so desire. Invest in teams. Invest in systems, invest in software, invest in automations, processes, coaching, your education. Events should be here too, like such as this. Like those things help you get free, especially teams, especially systems. And then I put coaching, education, and I'd add in events down here because you are your own worst enemy. You are the biggest obstacle to achieving freedom. You are the problem and also the answer. If you get money and you spend it right away, then you are constantly, what is going to change next month? You will do the same exact thing. You will spend it, and then you'll have to do the same exact thing where every month, that's when people are like, okay, my revenues are always the same, or I'm not getting clients every month. Well, what is changing? What are the activities what are you focusing on that is changing and getting you out of the daily so that you can be free and focus on what is most important? Because no one is going to take your business from 1 client to 5, from 5 to 10, from 10 to 20, or selling courses or books. No one's going to do that except you. Your team won't do that for you. They can only help you to the level that you are helping, that you are able. They can only help you to the level that you are at. They can only help you to the level of systems that you've created. But they will only work within those systems. It is your job to create the higher level systems and processes. Otherwise, you will continue doing the same thing. You're trying to expect a different result, but it'll keep happening. Otherwise, you will always be fighting every month in order to pay for the lifestyle that you burdened yourself with. And that's not freedom. And that's not freedom. What's interesting is when you are thinking like this, your business grows because it's not about paying bills and the stress of the business. It's about the mission. You can actually focus on the impact. You can actually focus on the things that really matter. And when you're doing those things, ironically, like your business just starts rolling. And I think that's a big distinction that has to be made in the beginning, is understanding, okay, I got a little bit of money coming in, and of course you're like, okay, I'm just trying to pay my bills. So when you're first with clients, like, yeah, pay your bills, do what's necessary. But when you start hitting a tipping point and having excess cash flow, invest for freedom. Get free first. Because if you're not free, you're going to slow yourself down. It's going to make it harder each and every month. And if we start not liking our business or not liking what we're doing, results go down. Productivity goes down. Happiness goes down. Personal life goes down. Relationships go down. And so I think coming from a place of freedom, we can improve our professional life, and we can also improve our personal life. You can show up more powerfully for your family, for your children. You can show up more powerfully for your wife or girlfriend, or if you're single, you now have more free time to go out and you're not worrying about other things. Like, you're just free to go out, explore, have fun, do the 3 events, 3 approaches. And the last exercise, learn to delay gratification. Instead, get gratification from the impact you're making and the man you're becoming rather than the income that you're trying to make. People get gratified about the income. Of course, it feels good. Of course, money's an indicator of your value and your worth. But more importantly, why you got in the game is for the impact. And if you can pull gratification from the impact, then I don't care what I'm driving. I don't care the size of my living room, because I'm doing shit that matters every day. And like, that's where I'm pulling gratification. I've had successful business owners come and tell me, man, because they'll tell me what they're doing, and obviously their numbers can be way higher, way higher. I have a friend that makes over $600,000 a month net, not revenue, net, take home. That's money. And he says, yeah, but I don't get to make that impact that you get to make. And that's powerful. Of course money's good. Of course that can help. But if you get gratification from the impact you're making, then you're already a success. You're already fulfilled. And it allows you to operate much more intelligent as a business owner. Yeah, I'm telling you to be more frugal, but you're not being frugal in a sense where you're like this cheapskate. You're investing into freedom so that there is higher upside in the mid to long term. It's a powerful way to look at it as a business owner. It's too easy to just start spending money and trying to put on this look of success, because what I think is a man of success is the value that he puts out and creates. And ironically, when you do that, you become more successful because, again, coming back to coaching and the enrollment conversation, you care about your people. Like, this stuff matters to you. You're not just doing this because it's a way to pay for your watch or pay for that vacation. You're doing this because you want to do this. And that's a powerful approach to your business. Delay the gratification. Get freedom, because freedom is what you really want, and freedom feels better than anything. People die for freedom. We live in a free world, yet we enslave ourselves within that world. We do it to ourselves because there's someone out there who's super smart and has billions of dollars behind him and makes us feel like we need that thing. If I ask you if you're a hell yeah about freedom, what do you say?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. What's cool to me is having absolute freedom when I wake up knowing my business is impacting. I changed the font because it's just too much. This isn't really good font, right? It's getting a little much, right? Having absolute freedom when I wake up knowing my business is impacting thousands every day and I'm making thousands every day and I don't have to stress about any bills. But this used to be tens. I used to be making $20, $30, $40 a day. And then it started to get into hundreds and then thousands. But I believe when you're investing in freedom and you're pulling gratification from the impact and the work that you're doing, it allows you to be more in tune with your mission, with your goals, with your actions. You wake up more conscious and just ready to take on the day rather than the day's taking you on. This doesn't happen by miracle. You have to make decisions early on to get here, which is the absolute freedom, which is the making the impact. And it starts with just tens, man. It starts with tens. You're gonna start with tens. You're making 30, 50, 60, 80 bucks a day. But the excess cash that you pull from that, reinvest into what? What do we reinvest our money into? Specifically, yeah. And little things too, man. Getting someone to clean, like, why am I having a full deck of clients at a time when I was like really into that and I'm getting paid well scrubbing my toilet? Like, I just coached a guy who's making 7 figures and he's crushing it in life, and then like the next minute later I'm like scrubbing my toilet. And it's like, if he walked in, is that what he wants to see? Like, okay, hey, I'm ready for this call, and then like if he could see what I'm doing, I'm like scrubbing my toilet, or I'm like under my sink fixing some pipe. And man, I get, if you're like a handyman and you pull from that, I get it. Like, I actually like to get sometimes under my car. I kind of find it, it's good, but not everyone wants to. What I'm just saying here is hire those people to free yourself. You'll have more time, and your hourly wage is worth a lot more than what you would have to pay someone to clean the toilet. Okay? Also, your food. When I'm in the grocery store, it's basically like I'm doing like an Indy 500. Like, I go, like I'm just trying to get out of there, and then eventually I'm like waiting in line. Eventually I'm like, what am I doing? And so now my food just delivered. I use Freshly for meals, and then Amazon Fresh, it's just like weekly batches of food just come in. And so I'm not grocery shopping, I'm not waiting in line, I'm not having to commute to get food. All that stuff is just auto ship. And so what's my hourly wage worth? Okay? If I'm spending 2 hours, an hour doing laundry, an hour cleaning, an hour making food every day, it's basically I'm losing money by doing that. Little things like that will actually make a huge difference. And also in your life, just like, wow, how much more free time I have. Like, what the heck? And it also makes you want to take advantage of that ROI because you're spending money, So you're like, wow, I want to take advantage of that ROI. So that while this person's cleaning or doing your laundry, you're like it tells you that it's time to you got to making sure that you're getting your ROI with the time that you just saved. That time might even be relaxation. What is your relaxation and being stress-free worth to you? And that could be the most important thing for any business owner, anyone getting started, to be able to think with clarity, to be able to wake up stress-free. It's one of the best gifts that you can give everyone. Hey, how would you like to be stress-free? Go to bed stress-free. And it doesn't happen one day. You have to work to make it happen. And if you're going to work towards something, I think freedom is a worthwhile goal. Otherwise, join the entrepreneur rat race. We often know about the rat race, but how about the entrepreneur rat race? That's the one that they don't tell you about. Is that it also has its own endless cycle where you're on the hamster wheel, where you're constantly chasing, and it's not getting better. It's the same thing, the corporate rat race or the entrepreneur rat race. That's the one they don't tell you about. There's a rat race in both games where you're constantly having to fight every day and get it all done by yourself and carry all the weight and have all the bills coming in every month, both personally and professionally, that you can't afford. Is that freedom? You can have your own business, but what's most important to me is freedom. And if you're telling me that you're hell yeah about freedom, then you better start working towards it. Get there first. It's one of the greatest feelings, to be free. You're not worrying about bills. You're not worrying about money. And you literally, your bank account is like Monopoly money. You just get to play with it in terms of getting supermodels to post, and you just get to see how this works, which we actually made money on, but it was just very stressful to oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work? It was just something new, it was an experiment. You get to try new things. And I think in that creativity is where you come alive the most, and is where your best work will come from, and it's where your most productivity will come from. And I think most importantly, I think it's where you're going to come alive. And at the end of the day, we want to be alive, we want to be free. I don't know if everyone in here wants to be a slave to make an impact. I know you want to make an impact, but I don't think everyone wants to be a slave to their impact. And there will be those, such as Gary Vee, who says that you likely should, and that if you really want to do it, you should grind every day and work your face off. And there's another way. It's invest in freedom. Invest in freedom first, and you can still make a massive impact. You can still make good money. In fact, I believe more money. How much are you worth hourly? This is a super powerful activity to what I was alluding to, but you should put this out there. What would your number be if I was to charge your hourly? And I can show you how much money you're leaving on the table. Okay? Tally up your daily activities. Is what you did worth that hourly? Was cooking worth it? Prepping? I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. If you like and enjoy cooking, I'm not telling you not to cook, but I bet you don't enjoy and like cooking 3 times a day. But I, of course, enjoy cooking a good steak every now and then. I take pride in that. But when I'm just working and then I need a lunch, I don't enjoy having to prep the meal, cook the meal, clean the meal. Every now and then, of course, man, do your thing. Especially, my brother says cooking is like therapeutic or something. But that's his thing. But he himself says he doesn't like having to do it 3 times a day. What about cleaning? When you're scrubbing your toilet, but your hourly is worth, even if you're worth $50, even if you're worth $25, but what if you're worth $100? What if you're worth $200? Okay, editing that video. So just an example of what you might end up doing. Was that worth it? Was editing the audio worth it? I have a team that edits my podcasts and stuff like that. This is super powerful. This right here is a if you go to a CEO conference or some of these super private meetups, you'll find that the CEOs are often doing things that are super unnecessary in terms of what they're actually worth, what they're being paid, and then what they're doing in their free time. Because that free time could be spent either being more productive and or relaxing. And you're human, so you have to relax. How much are you worth today? If it's not worth your hourly, you need to spend money to get rid of that activity and potentially hire someone better than you to maximize results. You actually think you can do it all, but maybe there's someone better than you. Maybe there's someone better than me at editing my podcast. Maybe there's someone better than me at editing video, Marco. Maybe there's someone better than me. Maybe there's someone better than me at the task. They're better at doing laundry than me. They're better at cleaning. They're better at these tasks. And so I'm actually losing money by me spending time doing something that I shouldn't be doing, and also not having the highest level of quality work. Who knows? I could be losing money by doing my own ads. Because maybe it could be even better, even if I am getting a good ROI. What do you really value? Most would buy things they don't even value if given money, instead of actually pursuing what really matters to them: freedom, growth, love, connection, family, health. What happens is we end up buying things which make us work harder and more stressed out, and it pushes us away from freedom, growth, love, connection, family, our health. I have to stress on that point. We often will buy things that push us away from what we value. Maybe that thing is something cool like a car or a vacation, but it forces us on the other side to have to work extremely hard and be stressed out about something that actually pulls us away from what we obviously are interested in. And you could add more too, because I put ... for yourself. Like, what other values do you have? Really interesting point. And if we get caught, I think you don't put out your best work, I think you don't maximize your potential, and I think you don't actually make the biggest impact that you could have made. And no one cares what you're driving. Like, if that's what you're leading your life with, which is external things, check your environment. This is different. This is counterintuitive. It's not for everyone, but I think freedom is extremely important, and if you get anything from this, it's invest in freedom. Whether or not you believe that you should buy expensive things or not, first get freedom, then buy it. That's what I'm saying. So the biggest hack is to fight for freedom, not external things, especially in the beginning. Is like, that's what you move towards. Is your goal is not like to hit a certain revenue amount. Your goal is to actually be free. That's the goal, is freedom. And once we are free, we are now then free to rise and put out our best work and do what we really, really want to do and really stay in alignment to our mission. I mean, how many people have gone to a company and they have their mission statement right there on the wall, and all the employees and the whole team looks like none of that is happening, right? It's like they don't have time because they're so stressed. The manager's so stressed. They don't have time to like do that thing that is so grand because they're just so stressed out. And instead, if they were free, they could focus on what really matters here. Questions on investing for freedom. It's a different idea, I know. And I'm still kind of working on how I share that.
Seems like you have to be, and this is obvious, but really, really dedicated to what your mission and purpose is, because if not, it's going to be really easy for that to fall to the wayside, and that the car or the house or the professional success get in the way and take up those finances.
But the mission that you have might not be your business mission. Your mission can be, I want to be there for my family. That's a pretty good mission to have regardless. So you don't have to be a guy who's like, I want to impact thousands of people. Your mission could just be, I want to be at home at dinner for my family. And that's fucking awesome. I want to watch my kid throw his first baseball. That mission can drive you. And when you have that freedom, whether you have kids or not, you get it, right? you can have something that's personal to you that gives you the freedom. Because maybe your job or your business, like the guy who does like mortgages and credit card debt relief, like he struggles kind of finding that mission, but he's obviously there. He's got freedom at home. Stuff like that. But yeah, good point.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
So, doing all this requires that you create your own systems to make that happen, so you can have someone else work these systems, right? And I've read the E-Myth, I don't know if you've read that.
Yeah.
And,
The
so
pies.
that was a big point of that, but I also thought, you actually have to do those systems first. Like, you have to be an
Yep.
active participant.
I'm not saying skip things. Get in there, learn what you want, but the goal is to get out. Like the goal is not to get in and then become a master and the best in the world. The goal is to learn enough and then find someone who is that master and put them in.
So really focus on creating the system that can constantly work on the system.
This
Higher level education.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm not saying you just can't. There could be some things that you just don't do. Like you may not need to know how to video edit. Like you could if you want, but there are some things where you probably could immediately just start inserting people. But there are some things maybe like sales or marketing where like you got to know some. Great question. I'm glad you addressed that.
More of a comment, that should be a book. This whole presentation.
I know. It's actually going to be a chapter within my next book. I have so much stuff I've been working on, and I can't wait to just have, like, I'm focusing right now on the business and things, and I want to, like, run to the woods and write this book, because it's, like, coming out of my veins.
Yeah, I just had a comment also. Like, I didn't think about like how much time it takes up during my day. Just like scrubbing my bathtub, doing my laundry.
It looks funny.
I never thought about maybe hiring somebody.
It's actually dangerous to be scrubbing your bathtub. Like, it's actually dangerous. The chemicals. I watched this documentary, and it's like people are like having all these problems, like cleaning ladies. Like they're always getting sick, and it's like the chemicals. It's really bad for you. So now if you look at it like that and you watch the documentary, it's like, fuck, I shouldn't be doing that. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. You really shouldn't be cleaning. Or you have to use like green chemicals.
Yeah, this is more of like a use case scenario, I guess, but what happens if you're a really materialistic person and you want the car, the lifestyle?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not discounting the fact that you can't have those, but I would say delay gratification for a while, have freedom, and then once you have excess cash, like I would still invest in freedom and then start getting those things that you want. But coming from a place of freedom, not like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this. Like buy it when it's like, it's so, like, it's not even a problem. Like you could just like, you can buy it in cash, or you could just, you look at the bill and it's not a problem. But it's not like you look at it and it prevents you from being able to do things that you wanna do. Like it's like, I can't because I got this payment. I can't because I have this thing. And it's like, no, like that should be something that is taken care of so that you can be free. So I think delaying the gratification, because we put ourselves in situations where we can't. Because everyone has a job or some source of income, but we have these things we buy, and then it puts us in a position where it's like, I have to pay for this. So buy nice things, but first I would say buy the most important thing, which is freedom. And you can buy it.
Going back to your doing the top 20% of your tasks, I've been really trying to focus on, because a lot of us have full-time jobs, so when we come home, what's the biggest impact? What are like some things that you've done or are doing to know that you're like this 4 hours is going to be the best spent?
Great.
Does that make sense?
Nope, it does. Yeah, and I'm thinking, because you have the job thing. So one, you have cash flow. So you actually can use the money to invest into other people to do your work. Because I remember when I had a job, I had the cash flow, and other people would do work. And the thing is when they're doing work, like you kind of just sit there and wait for them to do the work. And so you go to work and make money while you're at work. You know that you have 3 people around the world who are like working on your business. And then when you get back, you review their work and then give them the feedback. And then so it's like that, where use your money to invest into others. And honestly, even today, like when I have people do work, I'm like, oh dang, like that took 5-10 minutes. And I just kind of like will sometimes wait for him to get back to me. And it's like, obviously there's other things I can do. So What are those things?
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting to now?
I mean, I know it's different for each person, but like for me, I'm trying to think.
So this is where you would start, man.
Yeah.
If this is where you want to get started, is when we drew the funnel, it's like, do you have a traffic engine?
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Is it automated or are you still doing all of the work?
It's like 50-50.
Okay?
I'm doing some of it, but I have other people doing some of it.
Get to 80.
Okay.
Get to 80. Freedom now. Your traffic engine's rolling. There is some work that you just can't escape. I can't like put someone on here. I'm like, hey, does someone sound like my voice? And then find someone on Upwork and he's like, hey guys, Andrew Ferebee. And like I have to do the podcast. I can't outsource that, but I can outsource everything else, which is like 40 hours of work. And so I show up for the podcast. You have to show up for how you're going to do your traffic engine, and then everyone send it out. So now once you're free here, it's like I've outsourced everything that I could outsource. Okay? Lead magnet. Is it done? Okay. So now you have the option of choosing low offer, core offer, or high-end offer. You're probably going to go with core offer. That's what I would recommend. And then so now it's about building the core offer. And then there's probably work within the core offer that you could outsource too, because you're going to have video work. And there's probably going to be some copy. There's probably going to be some landing pages. And so those are things that you're going to focus on. And then now you just plug and play. You start building. But the traffic engine never stops. We keep going. But on your free time, you're building this. Once this is built, money's coming in now. And then you plug in I'm like acting like it's here, but it's not here. But I hope you see it. The low-end offer, once you insert that, you'll start seeing people trickle in even more. And then you just plug and play all the pieces of the puzzle and outsource as much as you can. And once you get to a point where you're starting to make some good cash flow, where it's like, I'm making about 40% or 50% what I make at my job, and I'm only working 15 hours a week, what would happen if I quit and worked 50? Could my income, could I actually match my income? If not, get close to it. And I wouldn't necessarily use your job as a benchmark for when you can quit, because you could probably be okay making a little bit less than your job, knowing that you're going to take a few steps back like a catapult so that you could launch forward. So that's what I'd say. Very cool. Okay, are we good? Big aha? Invest for freedom? Yeah. Great.